Hello and welcome to this international friendly as the World Tournament preparations conclude for England here on this Wednesday evening as the Three Lions square off against former foes Costa Rica in Orlando. Thomas Tuchel's men laboured to a 1-0 victory over New Zealand in their penultimate warm-up friendly, a few days after their opponents fell to a 3-1 loss to Colombia. A sub-optimal pitch, unforgiving temperatures and a full complement of changes at half-time was a recipe for a forgettable match between England and New Zealand. And so it proved in the Three Lions' narrow success at the Raymond James Stadium. Who else but Harry Kane would produce a solitary moment of attacking quality in Tampa, flicking in the defining header on the stroke of half-time, his 79th goal for his nation to end England's two-match winless run. Tuchel was unsurprisingly less than impressed with what he witnessed in Florida, and the time for tinkering is surely over for the former Chelsea head coach, as Wednesday's showdown is his final opportunity to find the favourable formula for the World Tournament. England will at least enjoy a 7-day reprieve in between the Costa Rica clash and their opener against Croatia, but attacking concerns are still lingering for the Three Lions, who have failed to score more than once in a game in 2026 so far. However, by virtue of shutting out New Zealand on Saturday, each of England's last 12 victories have been to nil, last conceding in a triumph in a 3-1 Nations League success over Finland in October 2024. Absent from the upcoming global gathering, Costa Rica sought to qualify for a fourth successive World Tournament this time round, following their inspirational quarter-final run in 2014 and group stage exits in 2018 and 2022. Whilst Tico strode into the third round of the CONCACAF qualifying with 12 points from a possible 12, but a string of stalemates, 4 draws from a possible 6 in the next phase, cost them a spot in North America. Finishing below both Haiti and Honduras in their third round section, Costa Rica triggered the wrath of apoplectic fans and parted ways with head coach Miguel Herrera immediately after their failed World Tournament venture. Ex-Venezuela boss Fernando Batista was chosen to succeed him. The 55-year-old Argentine is still waiting for his first triumph at the helm, though kicking off his reign with a 2-2 draw against Jordan before a humbling 5-0 loss to Iran and 3-1 reverse to Colombia on June the 2nd. As Batista aims to make it fourth time lucky, Costa Rica are hoping that the third time is the charm against England, whom they held to a 0-0 draw in the 2014 World Tournament before a 2-0 friendly defeat 4 years later. So England extended a rest period owing to their Champions League final commitments, with Arsenal, Declan Rice and Noni Madueke have now joined up with their international teammates and are in the starting lineup, whilst Eberechi Eze and Bukayo Saka are left on the bench. Declan Rice has been confirmed the vice-captain of England, and he is straight into the starting lineup as Thomas Tuchel has abandoned his experimentation and has settled on perhaps a first-choice World Tournament 11. Jude Bellingham, Reece James and Nico O'Reilly have all earned promotion to the starting lineup, whilst John Stones and Ezri Konsa are Tuchel's central defensive pairing. On Costa Rica's end, there is a notable absentee in the form of Joel Campbell, the 150 cap former Arsenal youngster who was not called up for the June squad. Instead, the attacking onus will fall on Spartak Moscow striker Manfred Ugald, the top scorer in this month's Costa Rican ranks, with 11 international strikes to his name. Meanwhile, Kenneth Vargas, Warren Madrigal and Alejandro Bran were all axed from the squad due to disciplinary reasons. So both sets of players are out and are singing their national anthems. God Save the King, currently playing out from an England perspective. Their final game before they take on Croatia in the opening game of the World Tournament. So let's run you through the starting lineups. For England, in goal for them is Jordan Pickford. It's a back four of Ezri Konsa, John Stones, Nico O'Reilly and Reece James, whilst Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice will be playing as the two holding midfielders, with a trio of Anthony Gordon, Noni Madueke and Jude Bellingham behind the lone striker Harry Kane. That means for Costa Rica, in goal for them in this game against England is Patrick Sakara. It's back four of Jalen Mitchell, Fernan Ferron, Daryl Araya and Sean Johnson. Aaron Salazar will be playing as the holding deep-lying midfielder, whilst Andre Soto and the captain Orlando Gallo will be in front of them, with Carlos Mora and Yosemar Alsacer playing as the two wingers, with Manfred Jogald leading the line for Fernando Batista's side. So on the bench for Thomas Tuchel's team, the two sub-goalkeepers are Dean Henderson and James Trafford. A shock exit for Mark Gahey, who's not named in the starting lineup. He is also alongside Judd Spence, Dan Byrne, Yaro Quansah, Tino Livramento, Eberechi Eze, Jordan Henderson, Kobe Mainu, Morgan Rogers, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins. Whilst for Costa Rica, their sub-goalkeepers are Bayron Mora and Abraham Madris. They're alongside Joseph Pareza, John Ruiz, Haxel Quiros, Christopher Nunez, Luis Flores and Orlando Sinclair. So this is a big game here for England, looking to prepare for what should be an exciting summer. They will be taking on Croatia, Ghana and Panama in Group L, and if they are to succeed from that group, they will have to wait to see who they will face. Of course, after that as well, they've got the Nations League campaign starting in September. They will meet regular foes Croatia and also take on Czechia and Spain in the Nations League League A Group 3. But for now, all the attention is on the upcoming World International Tournament, and we are about to get underway here after an hour and 3 minutes from when we were supposed to kick off here at Exploria Stadium. It is currently 32 degrees. Incredibly warm temperatures for the players. Very humid right now. And we're told it's only going to get more humid. So we are on the way with Costa Rica in their red tops, navy blue shorts and red socks, whilst England are in an all-white strip here at Exploria Stadium. England in a 4-2-3-1 formation, whilst Costa Rica in a 4-1-4-1 formation. 8 changes for England from their last game against New Zealand. Just the one change for Costa Rica. Reece James, Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, Anthony Gordon, Noni Madueke, Jude Bellingham, Ezri Konsa and Nico O'Reilly all coming into the starting lineup. So it's an early ball forward, of which it's asking questions of the Aston Villa central defender, Ezri Konsa, who gets there ahead of the Costa Rica attacker and volleys it away as Thomas Tuchel sits down with his assistant manager Anthony Barry. Watching on right now are those two, hoping that their side can bring home the World Trophy this summer. So ball goes up and Reece James just a little bit overzealous on Alsacer and brings him down, and quite early on the 21-year-old Yosemar Alsacer is down in a bit of pain. Reece James perhaps just a little bit overzealous with the challenge coming from behind. Just a little tight. As Fernando Batista is the manager in his tracksuit top and tracksuit pants. Not sure why He's got pants on. I certainly wouldn't have pants on in this sort of temperature. He makes his way over after shouting out a few instructions to take a refreshment on board. 2 minutes on the clock here. Already play being stopped for over a minute with the injury to Al Sacer. Has now got back up onto his feet. So we can get back underway, as the ball will go all the way back to the Costa Rica defence. Sacer back up onto his feet, and now it's the turn of Ruiz to commit the foul. We'll come back to the deep midfielder Elliot Anderson. Anderson will just bring it forward and give it Noni Madueke, and Galde with the foul in the back of Elliot Anderson, just bundling him over as the referee just coming over to calm things down. Female referee today in charge of the game. Comes back to Ezri Konsa, who's partnering John Stones in the centre of defence. Comes out to the right side with Reece James here. Reece James receives it, and it will be a strong tackle that goes in. Come back out to the right side now. And it's an awkward clearance away by Jalen Mitchell. It's going to be picked up, and there is Elliot Anderson. He'll just go all the way back to Ezri Konsa. Konsa on the ball now. I'll just get the ball out of his feet, and then it'll come all the way back with John Stones. Stones will just give it Ezri Konsa. Konsa will play it out to Noni Madueke on this right side. And that time it's Araya with the foul. It's a little bit tight as the ball came into him. Controlled it and didn't quite get it out of his feet. It's a free kick for England, who will just go short with it. It's going to go all the way out to the left side now with John Stones. John Stones on the ball. And he will just give it into Declan Rice now. Rice will carry it forward into the opposition half. Comes back into Stones, and now Stones will just switch out to the right flank, brought down well by Noni Madueke. Madueke will just play it back, and then he'll give it to Elliot Anderson on the edge of the box. Now it's with Jude Bellingham into Reece James on this right flank. Now it's out to the left flank to Nico O'Reilly. He's made a good move down on that left side. Patient at the moment, everything that we are seeing, and then it's going to come to the edge of the box to Jude Bellingham. Is going to try his luck, and it's taken a deflection off the central defender Fernan Faron, and he's just got a left touch on the ball, and he's been able to divert it away from goal. But it was Jude Bellingham trying his luck on the edge of the box. It wasn't a bad strike at all by the Real Madrid star. 6 minutes on the clock here, first corner of the game, and it's the Arsenal winger Noni Madueke, who's joined Arsenal this summer from London rivals Chelsea. It was quite a surprise move, but he's been a handy signing for the Gunners. So before Madueke can deliver the ball in, the referee's just stopping just to speak to a few players down there. Salazar getting a little bit tight, the looks of things, so the female referee down there just trying to calm things down. Noni Madueke will put the ball down. Right arm goes up in the air. He's going to deliver it in. It's all the way forward. Bellingham's gone down, and there's England players claiming that there was a foul in there. Of course, VAR is in play today. Elliot Anderson goes out to the left side. Come all the way back into the Nottingham Forest midfielder now. He'll play a 1-2 with Rice. Rice on the halfway line. And he'll give it to Ezri Konsa. He's playing as a central defender. There has been discussions over whether he would be lining up as the right fullback, and that's mainly come from him being given the number 2 shirt, as Anthony Gordon goes down the left flank, plays it inside to Harry Kane, but Costa Rica do well and are able to get out of a bit of trouble. Goes out to Johnson on the right side. Nico O'Reilly wins it back well, though. There's the Manchester City youngster, and then it will be a strong tackle going in by Sean Johnson, who recovers well after originally losing the ball. There is Declan Rice on the ball. Rice will bring it forward. It's going to go all the way inside, and then he'll cut it back towards where Reece James is. Now Declan Rice searching out to this right side. It's going to be brought down well by Noni Madueke. He'll put back into Bellingham now. Anderson will deliver it all the way to the far post. Harry Kane on that occasion has gone down, and they are asking whether there should be a penalty. Harry Kane is certainly making that point known, and he's complaining in the direction of the referee, but she's not listening at all as England come forward. They're on the right side with Noni Madueke. Madueke comes all the way back now to Ezri Konsa. Back to Anderson. Anderson out to Madueke. It's a lot of attacking verve in this performance so far from England. 1-2 between Madueke and Jude Bellingham. Now it's with John Stones. Stones goes all the way out towards Anthony Gordon. Gordon gets to the byline, pulls it back to Declan Rice, and it's an opening goal of the game for England. 10 minutes on the clock here, and it's the vice-captain, Declan Rice, who has slammed it into the bottom corner. And it's an ideal start for England in their preparations for next week. And we may be an hour delayed in this game, but it has been well worth waiting for from an England point of view, because it's been a fantastic start to the game. It's Barcelona's new man Anthony Gordon who pulls it back to Declan Rice, a left-footed strike at goal and right into the bottom corner. It has been helped on its way via a deflection off a Costa Rican midfielder. I think it's come off Salazar in there, but it's gone into the corner, and it's well finished by Declan Rice, who's recovered well from the Champions League final heartbreak. And 10 minutes on the clock here. It's England 1, Costa Rica 0. And it's perfect start to this game as they prepare for that opening game a week from today against Croatia. Say Anthony Gordon is Barcelona's new man. That hasn't been a confirmed move, but wherever you look at the moment, it looks like that is all but going to be confirmed in a couple of days. Of course, currently employed by Newcastle United. But England 1-0 up in this game early on. It certainly has been an exciting start to the game as Ezri Konsa will come and get on the ball now. Here is Konsa. He'll give it to John Stones. Stones comes out to Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly will go out to the left flank, finding Anthony Gordon. From Gordon back to John Stones, and out to the right flank into Noni Madueke. Madueke will go down the right flank, will drive inside, tries to get past Area. The referee didn't really flinch when Madueke went down, and eventually the ball has taken a touch off Jude Bellingham and has run out for a throw for Costa Rica here. So the assistant referee is just trying to call over the fullback, Darrell Araya. Did play in their last game against Colombia. He's known for his versatility across the left side. Wears the number 8 shirt. That's because he can play as an attacking fullback, can David, or Darrell Araya, shall we say. Wasn't in the squad when they played their World Cup qualifier against Honduras and Haiti. As Thomas Tuchel is currently crouched down on the edge of his technical dugout, chewing gum. It's currently 33 degrees and Tuchel has chosen to wear tracksuit bottoms and a tracksuit quarter zip. I certainly wouldn't be wearing that in the sweltering conditions. Also pants on Batista. The Costa Rican manager, of course, here is Ezri Konsa. He just goes inside to John Stones now. John Stones on the ball. Goes out to the left flank with Nico O'Reilly. Gives it Anthony Gordon. Gordon gets to the byline, cuts it back, and it ends up in the hands of the goalkeeper, Patrick Sequeira. Although he wasn't able to prevent it from going to a corner, he made a little bit of a mess of it. I thought that he kept hold of it. The man that plays for Casapia just bundled it out, and it will be a corner as the supporters down in the VIP seats. Of course, it's all very Americanised, people with tables, food and drinks. Certainly something you wouldn't see in Europe. But they have been here in the Exploria Stadium. There is the opportunity to sit in the VIP seats where you get treated with a table in front of you and get to eat a meal here in Orlando. So it's Declan Rice with the second corner of the game. The goal scorer of the solitary goal so far. Left arm goes up. Rice will deliver it all the way to the far post. There is Kane. Kane heads it back across. Konsa can only head it off the chest of the central defender Ferron, and it's an awkward clearance by him. Number 3, Jalen Mitchell, will try and keep it alive, and Harry Kane wrestles with the Sturm Graz defender. And the former Feyenoord man goes down and wins a free kick, but it was a good header back across by the England captain. In fact, it was the two leaders of the England team. It was confirmed this week that Declan Rice will be the vice captain, so when Harry Kane's not playing, Rice will be the captain. Quite a lot of candidates in the England squad, to be fair, who could take the armband. Bukayo Saka is the vice captain of his club Arsenal. Jordan Pickford's the vice captain at Everton. Mark Guehi was the captain at Crystal Palace. Ezri Konsa is one of the 3 captains at Aston Villa after John McGinn. Reece James is the captain of Chelsea. Certainly tells you all about the leadership group that Thomas Tuchel has built. Tells you about the value of Declan Rice to this England squad, and he's now one of the best midfielders in world football. He's a sure starter in this team. Without a doubt, Declan Rice, Harry Kane and Jordan Pickford are probably the 3 that won't be questioned throughout the tournament, and for any competitive game will certainly be played. Of course, all the games will be competitive, but if England do win their first 2 games against Croatia and Ghana, that game against Panama would probably present the manager with the opportunity to rest and rotate his team and keep it fresh, because 6 points would be guarantee of at least finishing in the top 2. Because the 8 best placed third place finishers will also go into the round of 32, so there's less jeopardy with the group stage, but depending on where you finish in the group stage is always important, and it's that time of year where everyone will be predicting where people end up. Most people, I imagine, would have England top, but Croatia clearly are no mugs. They shouldn't be taken lightly at all. Last 2 World Cups, they have come away with a silver and bronze medal, have Croatia. 2018, they went all the way to the final, defeating England in the semi-final in extra time after the goal from Mario Mandzukic, but eventually lost 4-2 to France in the final. And of course, they were semi-finalists in the last World Cup in Qatar, knocking out Brazil on penalties in the quarter-finals. I remember watching that game at the comfort of my own home. Nail-biting stuff. It was the same day as Argentina and Netherlands played in an absolute classic quarter-final. England, of course, saw their journey at the last World Cup end in the quarter-finals, losing to France. A rare missed penalty from Harry Kane didn't help them in that game. France, of course, went all the way to the final for the second World Cup in a row, but didn't win in the last tournament. As long ball goes up, it's going to be headed by Ezri Konsa. Konsa into Elliot Anderson. Here is Jude Bellingham, goes out to the right side with Noni Madueke. Madueke into Bellingham, comes back into Reece James now. Bellingham to Rice, Elliot Anderson. All the Costa Rica players currently behind the ball, frustrating England at the moment. Rice goes out to their left side towards Nico O'Reilly. Nico O'Reilly will just come back into Anderson. Anderson across to Ezri Konsa. Konsa with a 1-2 to Harry Kane. He likes to drop deep. People often get frustrated at how deep Harry Kane will drop, but his greatest qualities is on the ball and playing the ball in behind for quick wingers, which of course he's got at Bayern Munich under Luis Diaz and Michael Olise, who we expect to start this summer. Olise for France and Luis Diaz, the main man at Colombia. And you kind of see that Thomas Tuchel, of course, who used to manage Harry Kane at Bayern Munich, going with the same sort of method. Anthony Gordon and Noni Madueke both got unbelievable pace. Get in behind. So England win a free kick, and once again it's that man, Declan Rice, who will stand over it. He was denied a Champions League winning medal just a couple of weeks ago as they lost on penalties against the French side, PSG. He did score his penalty, did Declan Rice. So Rice to deliver, left arm up in the air, all the way deep, and the goalkeeper, Sakaria, comes and gets it. Good goalkeeping by the man in all yellow, the Casapir goalkeeper. He's been with Costa Rica for a long time. Big shoes to fill, of course. Keylor Navas, one of the most legendary and perhaps the most well-known Costa Rican footballers of all time. He was in goal when Costa Rica went all the way to the final 8 of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Keylor Navas, who had a fantastic playing career, played for Real Madrid and PSG, came away with a few Champions League winning trophies. But now retired, so Patrick Sakaria's had to not only step into his boots but fill his gloves. There is Elliot Anderson, comes back into John Stones, who's been chosen to play alongside Ezri Konsa. That's perhaps the one surprise really from this England team. That and probably Noni Madueke. Kind of expect that this 11 is likely to be the 11 that will start against Croatia. Although I think most people would have expected Bukayo Saka and certainly Mark Guehi to be in the central defensive partnership, as Anthony Gordon's just been brought down going down the left side, and it's Sean Johnson who's brought down the Newcastle United man, who's supposed to be moving to Barcelona this summer, following the footsteps of former England great Gary Lineker and Terry Venables, who have made the move out to Spain. play for the legendary Barcelona. So Sean Johnson picks up the booking. Once again, it's going to be taken by Declan Rice. It's been quite a stop-start this game so far. Not long until we meet our 3-minute hydration break, as Rice will deliver towards an near post, and Harry Kane with that flicked-on header, which saw him score against New Zealand with pretty much from the same position and the same technique, but that time it's well saved by Patrick Zakaria. Just a little nick on it from Harry Kane, but it's a fantastic save by the goalkeeper draped in all yellow. Was tipping it round the post. 22.5 minutes into the game. It's going to be another set-piece opportunity for England's number 4, Declan Rice, to take. Rice stood over it. A little bit of hustling and bustling going on in the middle of the box. The referee is going to call over the two captains, Harry Kane and Orlando Gallo. Gallo, who plays his club football in Latvia with Riga. He's often tasked with disrupting opponents' attacks. Well, when he's got a good grip of Harry Kane in front of him. So Rice pulls up his shorts as he prepares to deliver in. What is that now? Iconic World Cup ball as he delivers it all the way towards the near post. It will be flicked away at the near post. It's going to go all the way to where Elliot Anderson is. He'll give it Reece James. Reece James across to John Stones. Stones back to the goalkeeper in all blue, Jordan Pickford. Pickford will give it to Stones. Stones into Elliot Anderson. There is Ezri Konsa. Now it's out on the right side towards Noni Madueke. Madueke will get there ahead of anyone else. There is Anderson. Anderson into James. Now Anderson gets across, pulls it to the far post. It's going to come to the edge of the box. Noni Madueke with the effort. And it's well saved by the goalkeeper, Patrick Zakaria. Volley on the edge of the box, but Zakaria did really well, just able to push it away and around the post. Did very well with that one. So it's going to be another corner here. Still not had our hydration break. Guess you wouldn't take it when there is a corner. So it's Declan Rice who's made his way over. Rice's left arm goes up this time. He will deliver it towards the near post. Headed by Nico O'Reilly. Didn't get good contact on it, but Konsa will keep it alive. Comes back to Kane, the England captain. He's on the left side of the box now. Kane with the effort. And that is very un-Kane-like as he fires over the bar. And now the female referee will blow her whistle. And we'll get a 3-minute hydration break, which of course will allow the TV companies to show some adverts. Of course, you can watch this game with your local national broadcaster. As these England players will make their way over, but it is 1-0 to Thomas Tuchel's side at the moment. It was Anthony Gordon who drove at Sean Johnson, got all the way to the byline, pulled it back, and Rice, with the help of a touch from Salazar, it went into the bottom corner, and England have taken a deserved 1-0 lead. Jordan Pickford had very little to do so far in the England goal. So let's bring you up to date with what you can look forward to. Tomorrow we've got the opening ceremony, and then after that it's Mexico against South Africa. That is the opening game of the tournament before South Korea and Czechia take on early on Friday morning. They are the 4 teams in Group A. After that, you've got Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And of course, Canada are another host nation alongside Mexico and the United States of America. And the former hosts of the World Cup, Qatar, also take on Switzerland in Group B. So England have organised a in-house, behind-closed-door friendly against Miami FC. Play tomorrow. Thomas Tuchel's currently got his team in and is speaking to them. And he's passing on some instructions. So these breaks definitely give the managers an opportunity to do something that you don't get in the club game. It's a 3-minute break to allow the managers to pass on instructions. It's almost becoming, instead of 2 halves, it's becoming 4 quarters, but there has been a little bit of criticism about these. But with the heat of the playing at, currently it is 32 degrees and it feels like 35 degrees. It's currently 50% humidity as well here in Orlando. The players need to have a break for their own safety, so you can't really criticise it. You can't criticise the managers from taking advantage and trying to get their players to focus. Be interesting to see how each team approach it. Thomas Tuchel speaking to his team. Probably got to wait till Saturday to see what is maybe perceived as one of the big hitters at the World Tournament. Brazil taking on Morocco. What is being called one of the groups of death, Group C. Arguably Group I is maybe a little bit tougher on paper. France, Senegal, Norway and Iraq. How good Norway are now. Beat Italy 7-1 over 2 legs of their qualification games. And of course Senegal, who, well, thought that they were the 2025 AFCON winners before they saw that taken off them. The top side in Africa. Germany take on Curacao on Sunday, which could be a pretty one-sided game. Netherlands play Japan in the evening, and a lot of people are very excited about the prospects of Japan. Ball comes back to Jordan Pickford as we're back in play, and that's an awful pass out by Pickford. This could be an opportunity for Costa Rica to take advantage, and it's an effort from number 14, Gallo. Gets his effort away. It was blocked off at source. It's gone out for a corner, but it was poor distribution by Jordan Pickford, a man that hasn't really ever let England down. He's a trusted starter. He's had many great moments in an England shirt. Now 32 years of age. He was a young thing back in 2018. And he made his name by helping England win a penalty shootout against Colombia. So this is going to be a corner here. It's Ruiz who will go short. Oh, it's some really strange corner technique. Rather than delivering it into the box, they've gone short to Dorel Areja. And Areja goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Patrick Zakaria. Certainly not a well-worked routine by Costa Rica. They should have probably just delivered it in and put a little bit of pressure on the goalkeeper. So 31 minutes on the clock here. The clock doesn't stop for the hydration break, so you are guaranteed at least 3 minutes of additional time. Ball goes all the way on towards Jordan Pickford. Pickford will roll it out to Ezri Konsa. Konsa will give it to John Stones. into Konsa. Konsa on the ball. Here it is with Elliot Anderson. Anderson back to John Stones. We go out to the left flank now with Nico O'Reilly, and O'Reilly's going to float it over the top towards Declan Rice. Here is Anthony Gordon. Looks like he's bundled over by Sean Johnson, who is on a booking. A little bit clumsy. Just bundles over Anthony Gordon right on the edge of the box. Be interesting to see whether he's technically inside the box. No, he's just outside. If he was hovering over the box, then could have made the point that he was inside it, but the referee is telling the Costa Rica players to move away. Jalen Mitchell is complaining about it down there. I think England players are complaining that there was no yellow card for the defender. He's still complaining, the former Feyenoord man. So England have got the opportunity. You expect Declan Rice to make his way over. Goalkeeper Patrick Sakaria has shouted out instructions. He's just trying to make sure that his side remain organised. Reece James is also over there with Declan Rice. That's a very handy penalty and free kick taker is Reece James. Wiping the sweat off the forehead at the moment are the England players. You can see how warm it is. They've been doing altitude training to prepare for the conditions. So Rice and James still in conversation. Not clear who's going to step up onto it. It's going to be left for Declan Rice, actually. It's going to be a right-footed delivery, but he'll fire it over the bar. Disappointing by Declan Rice. It was a little bit far off. A little bit too much on it, but he has been a key man in the opening stages of this game here. Declan Rice. Thomas Tuchel now has taken off his quarter zip. Put it over his shoulders and is sat down on his cooler box. Marcelo Bielsa-like, who will be looking forward to his exploits in the global tournament this summer. Former Leeds United manager. He's the manager, of course, of Uruguay. Former Chile and Argentina manager, but now in charge of Uruguay's next golden generation. They're in the same group as Spain. Ball goes back to Jordan Pickford, and he's under a little bit of pressure there. And under the pressure, he is able just to boot it away. Ball comes back into Harry Kane. Now it's in behind for Noni Madueke. Madueke takes it around the goalkeeper, and somehow he has missed an open goal. You can't quite believe it. It's a fantastic opportunity for Noni Madueke, a player that you assume isn't going to be starting for England this summer in some of the crucial games. But with Bukayo Saka left on the bench, he really needs to take his opportunity, and he did so well to get in behind, which is clearly a tactic of Thomas Tuchel's. And he did well to get past the goalkeeper Patrick Sakaria. He's now got an 18-yard goal in front of him, and he's slammed it against the post, and it's gone out for a goal kick. Madueke runs away shaking his head, and I'm not sure he can quite believe it. Thomas Tuchel's allowed himself to have a wry smile, but I'm sure if that was next week, I'm not sure he'd see the funny side of that. As simply a player of his quality has to do better. So we've got a nasty head collision. Play's going to have to stop here. Elliot Anderson and Gallo just heading each other, and this is never nice to see, of course, with the concussion protocols now. This will be not only taken seriously, but if either player has to be substituted off. They may have to miss the opener next week. Well, Elliot Anderson might have to. Gallo won't have to worry about that because, of course, Costa Rica aren't part of this summer's Festival of Football. Players are taking the opportunity to make their way over and take some more refreshment on board. Thankfully, Gallo is back up onto his feet. So I think he's going to be okay. Thomas Tuchel stood there chewing gum with Anthony Barry, former assistant manager at Wigan Athletic is Anthony Barry. We followed Thomas Tuchel around from Chelsea to Bayern Munich. He was also previously assistant manager at Republic of Ireland when Stephen Kenny was the manager there, and many people have said that they think that Tuchel will be in charge until the end of the European Championships, and they think that he will naturally pass it down to Anthony Barry. They think he's learning from him. It's only about 8 years ago that he was the Wigan Athletic assistant managers. Here is John Stones under a little bit of pressure from behind. Stones as well just to find Ezri Konsa. It's Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly into Kane, and Harry Kane's inside his own 18-yard box, which tells you everything you need to know about how deep Harry Kane will play. And it's cheaply given away by Nico O'Reilly there, and Elliot Anderson will win the ball back for England despite the protestations of the Costa Rica players. Play continues, and now it's inside with Jude Bellingham. Bellingham will play a 1-2 with Kane. Now it's with Rice. Rice down the left side, and it's a delivery that goes in by Jude Bellingham, but he'll be disappointed by that, will the Real Madrid man. Just gets his foot caught underneath the ball and sends it all the way through, and it will be a throw now for Costa Rica. So it's just going to be a throw for Farron to take. He will launch it up. There is Nori Madueke. Madueke gets out of a bit of trouble. And then the referee spots a foul, and Noni Madueke is not happy with the foul that went in on him, and Jude Bellingham and number 8, Darrell Araya, are in a bit of an argument here. We're having a little bit of a heated discussion, shall we say. The female referee, she's trying to calm it down, speaking to all of the participants in that, and perhaps even speaking to Harry Kane and Gallo, the assistants. It was originally supposed to be Facundo Raul Telo Figueiredo who was overseeing this game. A late replacement. England, who are number 4 in the world rankings. Costa Rica 51. So Rice stood over this one. Left arm goes up in the air, in swinging. It's all towards the near post. It'll be cleared away. It's going to come all the way back to Reece James. James will clip it forward. That will be headed away. Anthony Gordon tries to bring it down on the edge of the box, and Costa Rica are going to look to clear, and they'll just boot it off Gordon, but it will come back off number 12, Ruiz. And it'll be a throw for England. It's Noni Madueke, goes all the way back to Elliot Anderson now. Now John Stones. Stones into Noni Madueke. It's up to the left flank. Stones will come out to the right side towards Elliot Anderson. He'll find Reece James. James on it and runs into a little bit of trouble. And the Costa Rica players are convinced that the last touch came off Reece James, but The assistant referee's gone the other way. Play continues here. Here's John Stones. Gives it into Nico O'Reilly. Now Rice will go all the way back towards Elliot Anderson, and looks like there's just a little bit of a strong challenge in there, and a free kick will be given. Nico O'Reilly gets back up onto his feet. He's not happy about something. Well, I'm not sure the Costa Rica player did much wrong at all, to be honest. So there's a Consa, maybe a little bit clumsy on the ball, but Consa's fouled by Yagalda, and the England players aren't happy with the level of contact that are coming from the Costa Rica players at the moment, and maybe the manager Batista has sent out his players to say, you need to send a statement here and don't let England take the mick out of you. And the member of the Costa Rica backroom staff is going to be booked as the referee makes her way over to book someone sat behind Fernando Batista. So here is John Stones on the ball. Stones will come across. England have had 9 shots compared to just the 1 of Costa Rica so far, and 81% of the ball as well for England. Madueke trying to go down the right side there, ran into a bit of trouble. Comes out to the left side, and that's a good strong tackle going in by Elliot Anderson. At the Exploria Stadium. Holds 25,500. 22nd largest in the area in terms of capacity. Here is Anderson. Gives it to Bellingham. He'll go all the way back to Nico O'Reilly. There is John Stones on the edge of his own box. So into the final minute of normal time. Bellingham will give it to Noni Madueke. Madueke will come down the right side now. All the way back to Reece James. There is Consa. Consa into Stones. Stones into Nico O'Reilly. And there is Farron. Farron will play it forward, and there's a foul that goes in by Mora. And he is the second player from a Costa Rica point of view to have been booked. It's a high foot catching Elliot Anderson in the head. Needs to start wearing a helmet. It's the second head injury that he has received. 4 minutes of added time here, so 3 minutes for the drinks break and 1 for everything else. So there are going to be lengthy injury stoppage times, and of course that a little bit exacerbated by the 3-minute drinks break. So especially in the second half, I imagine you'll likely see a lot of stoppage time of 10 plus minutes. Ball is back with Declan Rice now. Rice will launched up. Anthony Gordon tries to bring it down, but Jalen Mitchell will just get there and then tries to play it into Sean Johnson. It's not a good pass into Johnson, shall I say. So England will get on with it quickly. Kane back into Rice. Rice will give it Bellingham. Bellingham will just bounce it back to Ezri Konsa. Now Anderson out on the left side. Into Anthony Gordon now. Gives it away. Sean Johnson will win it. We'll try and find Mora, but Kane working back. This goes back to John Stones. Now once again, Kane was playing as the deep midfielder as he just clips it forward towards Anthony Gordon, but brilliant play by Sean Johnson. Johnson brings down Anthony Gordon. And the referee is going to point to the spot. And it's going to be a penalty here. Anthony Gordon, who just kept on going. But you've got to give a lot of credit here to Harry Kane for the ball forward. I tell you what, there's not much in that. I'm not sure there's much contact. I think Anthony Gordon has conned the referee. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a dive. He's felt contact in from behind, but nothing that I wouldn't expect to see in a normal contest for the ball. And Gordon, in my opinion, has gone down very easily. But and the referee has been called over to the screen. Harry Kane has picked up the ball. He was ready to take it, but I think this would be the correct call to disallow this one. Again, I'm not necessarily saying Gordon has dived, but he's just gone down extremely easily. Certainly not a penalty at all. It's not a penalty. There is contact. There's a right arm on the side of Gordon, but the Newcastle United man, potentially future Barcelona man, has just chucked himself on the floor, and this has to be disallowed. Someone's launched himself forward of Sean Johnson. The referee was quick to point to the spot, and yeah, it's the correct call. It's going to be a drop ball to Costa Rica. There's going to be no opportunity for Harry Kane from the spot, and despite looking at it from an England point of view, you simply cannot give a penalty for that, and it's a correct call from VAR. And hopefully we'll see a lot of implementation like that from VAR this summer. I don't think if you're Thomas Tuchel you can really disagree with it, and there's not much contesting there. So we will restart with a drop ball for the Costa Rican. So long ball goes up. Here is Ezri Konsa. We're into the 50th minute of the game now. Konsa goes across to John Stones. The referee will end it there. England 1-0 up. An impressive performance so far. Declan Rice with the solitary goal. Half time, it's England 1, Costa Rica 0. Hello and welcome back to the second half of this game here in the World Tournament preparation as England are taking on Costa Rica here. And currently England are 1-0 up after a solitary goal in the first half from Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice, who received the ball from a fantastic run by Anthony Gordon, who got all the way to the byline, pulled it back, and then it was an excellent finish into the bottom corner to give England a 1-0 lead. And they were pretty comfortable in that first half, were the better team in the game, if we're being honest. Anthony Gordon got all the way to the byline, pulled it back to Rice. There was actually a penalty for England, which was awarded after Anthony Gordon was fouled, but the referee was sent to a VAR screen and overturned the decision. Here is Noni Madueke going down the left side. He will pull it back to Elliot Anderson, who just tries to fire it forward, and it's not a good pass forward by him. It's going to run all the way through towards Reece James. He'll come and get back on it, and Elliot Anderson just bundles over the Costa Rican winger. As we saw Sean Johnson get substitute off at half-time. He was on a yellow card, of course, so perhaps Fernando Batista just trying to protect him. As we saw Axel Quiros, who's just recently turned 28 years of age. He has come on. He is an attacking fullback, known for getting forward. Often contributes both defensively and offensively. So here is Harry Kane, who's dropping deep on the ball. He's going to move it all the way out to the right side towards Noni Madueke. Madueke will get there. He'll get it to the byline. Oh, he's not far off at all. It's a great strike at goal by Noni Madueke, bringing it onto his left foot. And the goalkeeper, Patrick Sakaria, was certainly worried there, diving to his right side. And it's a decent effort, a driven effort by Noni Madueke, but it has just come past the post. And out for a goal kick. As I say, that was a fantastic opportunity there. So, long ball goes up. It will be headed by the attacker, Yagaude. Yagaude goes inside. Elliot Anderson will just come back now. It's with Ezri Konsa. Konsa on it, all the way out to the left flank. Finding Elliot Anderson here. Anderson will knock it forward, and now an opportunity for Costa Rica to break forward. Here is Mora. Mora going down the right side. Rice tries to get his body in front, and Rice does really well just to get his body in front there and stop Mora from driving forward with it there. Just showing that stamina and pace that the Arsenal midfielder has, and he did really well, Declan Rice, battling there to get back into a good position. So England goes short with the goal kick. It just goes inside to Jordan Pickford. Pickford will give it to John Stones. Stones will come out to the left side now with Nico O'Reilly. He'll give it Harry Kane. There is O'Reilly, tries to force it forward. Back into Jude Bellingham. Bellingham out to Reece James. Bellingham will cross it in towards O'Reilly, but it's come all the way back. It's now with Declan Rice. Anderson out to the right flank. James inside. Player 1-2. Anderson back into James. Back out to John Stones. Stones will carry it forward for his team. It's out to the left flank with Anthony Gordon. Gordon will float inside. It's into Jude Bellingham. Bellingham will come out to Nico O'Reilly. Bellingham out on the left byline, just tries to fire it across, and it's cleared away, but only to where Declan Rice is. There's Rice on the ball. Rice will just give it to this left side. All the way back to Elliot Anderson now. Anderson into Reece James. James inside. Declan Rice. Now O'Reilly. Into Elliot Anderson. Rice with a short pass into Declan Rice. Comes out to Nico O'Reilly. Out to the left side now. There is Noni Madueke. Madueke, one of the more unknown players in the England team. He's a Premier League title winner with Arsenal. Usually a substitute for either Bukayo Saka or Leandro Trossard. It's on the left flank now, pulled all the way towards Anthony Gordon, and he's well met by the Sturm Graz defender, Jalen Mitchell. Got in, and that was a strong tackle going in by him. He's getting across, did well, did Jalen Mitchell there. It's going to be a corner to be delivered in by Declan Rice. So Rice stood over it, waiting to deliver here. It's a right-footed delivery all the way to the far post. Consul head it down to Nico O'Reilly, tries to hit it on the spin, doesn't get good connection on it, and now potentially an opportunity for Costa Rica to come forward, but Noni Madueke just works hard to get there. Now it's out on the left flank with Anthony Gordon. There is Gordon, who will bring it inside. We'll try and take on the substitute. Cross comes in, and it's punched away by the goalkeeper, Patrick Zakaria. Costa Rica just trying to move it away, and it just sneaks out for what will be a throw. So here it is with Jude Bellingham now. Bellingham will come back into John Stones. Stones into Rice. Now Anthony Gordon. And Quiros with a tackle from behind. Foul will be given. There's Gordon across to John Stones. Stones back inside to Elliot Anderson. Here is Ezri Konsa. Konsa with the pass out to that right flank, finds Noni Madueke. Madueke will give it to Rice now. Madueke will deliver it in all the way across. Oh, it goes all the way through, and not particularly the best cross of the game from Noni Madueke. Just tried to send in a left-footed cross there. Just too cool. Once again, letting out a wry smile down there. So the goalkeeper, Patrick Zakaria, can just go short. Comes out to her right side. Costa Rica will build it forward, but Anderson is across and does well to meet it. It's Ezri Konsa who steps in, and Konsa will come down the right side, and just been spotted by the referee. He's got out a yellow card. It's going to be the third yellow card of the game. So it's Salazar who's just got in late on the Aston Villa central defender. There has been quite a few late challenges from the Costa Ricans here. Salazar, who's a key player in deep midfield for Costa Rica. Been with them for nearly 6 years now. Regular midfield presence, as there has just been a substitution for Costa Rica. We've seen Andre Soto Ruiz go off. So he has made his way off the pitch. Coming on for him is Christopher Núñez. Núñez, who is a like-for-like change for Soto Ruiz. Come on into the midfield. Came on as a substitute in their last game last week against Colombia. Did Christopher Núñez. Plays his club football in Lamia. For Lamia, shall I say. 55 minutes on the clock here. Long ball goes up. Rice will play it inside towards Harry Kane, who's going to fire in an effort at goal, but blocked off at source. And now it's Nico O'Reilly, just gets there ahead of the Costa Rica man. The referee spotted a foul. And Nico O'Reilly just being caught, according to the referee. So England have taken a quick free kick, and it was Jude Bellingham with the effort from distance. That is well saved by Patrick Zakaria. Just gone down to the left side and showing good handling in the process, as Zakaria will now launch it all the way up. Put a little bit of pressure on Reece James to wriggle out of a bit of trouble, and now it will come inside towards Elliot Anderson. Anderson will just carry it forward. It's out to the left side with Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly will give it to Anthony Gordon. O'Reilly tries to play it back, and it comes off the fullback for Costa Rica. And now Patrick Zakaria has sat down. So a little bit of concern here as the goalkeeper is down on the ground. Referee's going to call over the medical staff. This looks like we might have to see an early substitution here. Concern for the 27-year-old shot stopper, who's currently sat down on the ground. Sub-goalkeeper Abraham Madriz is warming up down there. The other option would have been to bring on Byron Mora. Abraham Madriz, who wears the number 23 shirt. He's an exciting goalkeeper. He's just 22 years of age. To feature for Costa Rica. And it's just from that kick from Patrick Zakaria. You could see the pain on his face quite straight away as he released the ball forward. And he's getting some medical attention now. And Abraham Madriz is warming up, so they probably won't want to take a chance on Patrick Zakaria, although the physio is telling them just to hold on at the moment. He's almost signalling to the medical staff and to the management team that maybe they don't need to rush into making a change. Certainly will be interesting to see what they decide to do here. England supporters inside the stadium. Plenty of England shirts. Thomas Tuchel will see this as a test for his team. Tuchel's a little bit frustrated at how long it's taken. He would like this process just to be speed up a little. Some boos coming from the England crowd, who feel like Patrick Zakaria maybe slowing him down and slowing the game down. Tuchel's certainly not happy, but you could certainly see the pain on the face of Zakaria when we've seen the replay of when he kicked it forward. So he certainly was in pain, and not really say that he's feigning it. Thomas Tuchel's moaning at the referee. Not happy at all with what he perceives as a bit of time wasting. But we are going to see some changes. So Bukayo Saka and Mark Guehi are warming up, we're told. They may be coming onto the pitch. So here are England down the right side. It's with Jude Bellingham. He goes to cross it in, takes a touch off a Costa Rica man. And it will run all the way out for a goal kick, though. It's come directly off Jude Bellingham. Up to me, the final touch came off the Costa Rica man, but clearly not. We are now going to see some substitutes. I think, no, maybe not. Some of the supporters in the stadium frustrated with how long this is taking. But it's Farron who will send a long ball up. It's going to go all the way through. Reece James will just guard it out of play. Reece James will just throw it down, and there is Elliot Anderson, who is bundled over on that occasion. It's going to be a free kick for England. So Ezri Konsa to take. As we are now going to see that substitution, the goalkeeper Abraham Madris is going to come on. So the goalkeeper Patrick Sicaria will make his way off the pitch, and I think that's what will frustrate Thomas Tuchel, that the goalkeeper could have come off straight away, delayed it, and you're going to see some other changes. We're actually going to see some changes from an England point of view. So Declan Rice has been a starlet this season for Arsenal and today for England. He'll make his way off for his club teammate Eberechi Eze, who had the difficulty of missing a penalty in the Champions League final. It's another Arsenal player that will make his way off, Noni Madueke. It's high fives from Anthony Gordon. Noni Madueke will come off for the Arsenal player Bukayo Saka, so the Arsenal players seeing their minutes being managed. We're also going to see Reece James make his way off the pitch, as the Tottenham Hotspur fullback Jed Spence will come on. And the England captain Harry Kane will come off. Number 17. Onto the pitch is Morgan Rogers. The Manchester City centre-back John Stones will come off. And coming on for him is his fellow teammate at Manchester City, Mark Guehi, and the Everton goalkeeper Jordan Pickford off as the Crystal Palace goalkeeper Dean Henderson is onto the pitch. So plenty of changes. Around about at the hour mark, Thomas Tuchel deciding to freshen it up. See those changes happen there. We'll restart with a free kick to be taken by Dean Henderson, who's come on. So it looks to me that Jude Bellingham might go and play as the striker. You expect when Harry Kane comes off that Ollie Watkins would come on, but instead it was his Aston Villa teammate Morgan Rogers who's come on. Maybe we'll see more of a 4-2-4 formation with Bellingham and Rogers both playing as kind of false nines. It's just going to be a throw that will go all the way back to Elliot Anderson. And Anderson will play it across towards Mark Guehi. Guehi will carry it forward. It's inside towards Jude Bellingham. It's going to bounce off Jude Bellingham actually, and now back with Eze. Eze into Bellingham to Nico O'Reilly. Will just fire it across the goal. It'll be blocked off at source, and then it's a long ball up, controlled on the chest by Mark Guehi. And there is Anderson now. Anderson, lovely play. Goes into Eberechi Eze. He'll go all the way back into Konsa. Comes around to the right side with Bukayo Saka. Saka with Jed Spence. There is Eberechi Eze. Now Jude Bellingham. All the way out on the left flank with Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon will drift inside. We'll give it into Eze. Anderson will deliver it in. That'll be blocked off. Comes to Eze again. Now Nico O'Reilly. It's Bellingham down the left side. Lovely footwork by Bellingham. We'll pull it back to Eberechi Eze. And I think that's taken a touch off a Costa Rican hand, and a penalty has been given. Eberechi Eze winning the penalty for England. Lovely play by Jude Bellingham. He's picked up the captain's armband, pulled it back for Eze, and yeah, that is a handball. The arm is tucked into the body, but the arm leans towards the ball. It's an elbow. You can't complain at all if you're a Costa Rican player, and England will have an opportunity from the spot. I imagine Eberechi Eze probably won't be putting his name forward. VAR will have a check of it. But I don't think this one will get overturned. Check is over and a penalty will be given here. So with Harry Kane not on the pitch, the responsibility will fall to Anthony Gordon, who thought he won a penalty in the first half, but this time he's got the opportunity to convert from the spot. So the whistle goes. It's Anthony Gordon up against Abraham Madriz. Gordon right into the top corner, and 68 minutes on the clock here. England are 2 goals up. And Newcastle United's Anthony Gordon puts England 2 up against Costa Rica. Celebration in the stands from all of the supporters, but just slammed into the top corner. An excellent penalty, in fact, by Anthony Gordon after the handball from Daryl Araya, who just leaned into the ball with his left elbow. And, well, you're never going to save that. You could have had about 10 goalkeepers in goal, and the outcome would have still been the same. Anthony Gordon slamming it in to the top corner. And he wheels away in celebration as he draws England 2 goals up now. And now we will see a drinks break in the game, a 3-minute drinks break, an opportunity for both sets of players to take some refreshment on board. Opportunity for both sides to have a rest and a chat with their managers. Of course, tomorrow night you can catch the first World Trophy game of the season as Mexico will be hosting Czechia at the iconic Azteca Stadium, the 3rd World Cup that Mexico have ever hosted, of course joint hosts alongside Canada and the United States of America. So the supporters here enjoying themselves. Let's run you through all the players on the pitch right now. So England have currently got Dean Henderson, Jed Spence, Mark Gahey, Ezri Konsa and Nico O'Reilly. Elliot Anderson is in the midfield alongside Eberechi Eze, whilst Morgan Rogers and Jude Bellingham are playing as the front men, with Anthony Gordon and Bukayo Saka as the wide men. For Costa Rica, they've had a change in goal with Abraham Madriz and Haxel Quiros, Jaden Mitchell, Fernan Farrom and Daryl Araya are in defence, while Salazar is in the midfield alongside the captain Orlando Gallo and Christopher Nunes, whilst Yosemar Yalcacea and Carlos Miura are either side of the lone striker Manfred Yagalde. And we've seen a couple more changes here at the end of the drinks break, 71 minutes on the clock. Thomas Tuchel just refreshing his side. Jude Bellingham will make his way off and will pass on the armband to Bukayo Saka. Bellingham off, and Ollie Watkins comes on to lead the line, the Aston Villa striker, whilst Ezri Konsa of Aston Villa has made his way off the pitch. And coming on for him is the man that plays out in Germany with Bayer Leverkusen, previously of Liverpool, before signing for Leverkusen this summer in a 31 million deal, I should say last summer, Jarell Quansah. So Quansah will partner Mark Guehi in the centre of defence. 72 minutes on the clock here. It's Anthony Gordon's first England goal since the 5-0 win against Latvia on the 14th of October. Here are England with it. It is with number 11, just going down the left side. Morgan Rogers just dragged down to the ground. We've also got Marcus Rashford on the pitch, who has come on for Anthony Gordon, the man that scored from the spot. So Rashford has spent this season on loan in Spain with Barcelona, on the books of Manchester United. It looks like Barcelona have decided against making the deal, or the loan deal of Rashford, permanent. Instead they are targeting Anthony Gordon. It looks like that is going to be a sealed deal. And we've also seen Elliot Anderson of Nottingham Forest come off for Manchester United's Kobe Mainoo. So here is Saka with the cross in, and it will come off the back of the head of Zalazar. Heads it out for a corner. We've seen some international friendlies today. We'll bring you up to date with how those international friendlies have gone when we get an opportunity to do so. So because Saka's made his way over, preparing to take this corner here. He's going to look to deliver it in. His right arm goes up in the air. Saka will deliver it towards the edge of the box. It's going to come all the way through, actually. Way out to the right side, and the referee will just give the free kick. As we mentioned, Kobe Mainoo is onto the pitch now. There's a lot of wrestling going on in the box. Abraham Madris will take the free kick. He will launch it forward for his team all the way on. That will be headed on. And now all the way forward. And then it's going to be cleared on, and we'll go through towards the goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. He's coming off the high of winning a European trophy with Crystal Palace. European champions, of course, which means they qualified to play in the Europa League next season. Ball is rolled out to Eberechi Eze, who's come very deep to get on the ball here. Eze with it. Out to the right side, and the referee has spotted a foul down there. Quarter of an hour left in the game now. And it's actually going to be a yellow card, delaying the restart. It's the Costa Rican midfielder who's come on, Christopher Nunes. He's had quite a lot to do today as the referee. He wasn't originally scheduled to referee this fixture. Last minute replacement. It's Kobe Mainu who stood over the free kick. It's a great ball. And oh, somehow it hasn't ended up in the back of the net. And it's Morgan Rogers, who's a personal favourite of Thomas Tuchel's, who had a fantastic moment to prove to him why he should be starting for England. He's got it on the edge of the box, he's carried it forward, and he's ended up putting it wide of the goal. Abraham Madris has made himself as big as possible to try and close down the angle. He's ended up dragging it wide of the goal. So one ball goes all the way up. Way on that right side now. It's Christopher Nunes who just picked up the yellow card, who is on it. He'll come back and with Salazar. Salazar out to the left flank. And now it's an opportunity perhaps for Costa Rica to come forward into Nunes. Nunes all the way back with Jalen Mitchell. There's Ugalde, it's going to be given away, and this could be an opportunity perhaps for Costa Rica to come forward. It's out on the right side now with Mora. Mora will pass it out to the right side with Quiros, who came on at half time, but Eberechi Eze is just brought down on the edge of the box. Free kick will be given. Thomas Tuchel down there in discussion with his backroom staff. We've got a behind closed door friendly tomorrow. So Dan Burn who's onto the pitch now. Dan Burn will just launch it forward towards Morgan Rogers. He'll play a 1-2 with Ollie Watkins, because the two Aston Villa teammates linking up. We'll give it to Eze, who won the penalty. And Eze's effort is just blocked off on the edge of the box. So it remains 2-0. So Dan Burn came on for Nico O'Reilly. So 5 changes happened right at the end of the drinks break. We just noticed Dan Burn on the pitch, which tells you everything about how Costa Rica haven't really had many attacking opportunities in this game. 82% possession for England, 15 shots, just a 1 for Costa Rica. No England keeper has made a save yet, but England have only had 4 shots on target, which may frustrate England supporters. There's Kobe Mainu, brings it down well. He's just brought down by Salazar, who is on a yellow card. He has to be careful, of course, does Salazar down there. He's going to go into the book. And I think he may have been sent off if this game wasn't a friendly. So, Ez is going to take the free kick for England. See the sweat dripping down his face. It's going to go inside. It's Conson towards the back post where Dan Burn is, but the referee has just identified that there was a foul down there. Jalen Mitchell just wrestled down to the ground. So Abraham Madris will launch it forward. Go inside. There is Eze. Eze inside to Rashford. Now Jed Spence. Spence up to Marcus Rashford, who will go down the left side. Tries to check inside, and Rashford there is just brought down to the ground. Anthony Gordon's had a particularly good game today. I'll certainly be impressed with how he's played. Ball comes into Kobe Mainu. Mainu on the ball. Played across. And then it's out on the left side. It's an opportunity for them to come forward. It's defended, and now Eze will come away with the ball. Eze all the way forward, and that time it's Daryl Araya who's been in the thick of it. Conceded a couple of silly fouls, as we are going to see some changes now. 3 changes for Costa Rica. Rodriguez, Sinclair and Aguirre coming on. 81 minutes on the clock, and this is typically what you see in friendlies, a lot of stop-start just to allow changes to happen. So we will see Manfred Yogade plays his club football in Russia with Spartak Moscow. He's off, and the aforementioned Daryl Araya will make his way off. He plays his club football in Costa Rica with Heredinho. And gets some high fives as he makes his way off the pitch here. So Orlando Sinclair is on. Plays his club football in Costa Rica with Deportivo Saprissa. He's a forward, 28 years of age. Used to play in the USA with New England Revolution. We'll also see Dorian Rodriguez, who also plays in Costa Rica for Alajuelense. And he is on, young man. So Dan Burn, who will just launch it out to the right side. Brought down by Saka. Rogers tries to play it back across goal, and it's just going to go out for a corner. England were attacking with pace there. It was Jean Ruiz who was the other player that came on. Player that currently plays for Municipal Liberia in Costa Rica. He's a left fullback. He used to play in Cyprus with Aris Limassol. It is going to be a corner now for Bukayo Saka on that far side. Prepared to deliver it in. So it's going to be Saka all the way across. We're headed away at the near post. It's going to come all the way back to Jed Spence now. Spence on the ball. We'll just play it out to the left side. Spence will come into Kobe Mainoo. There is Mainoo on it. Out on the right side with Jarrell Quansah. Quansah just with a short pass up. And now it's launched up. Brought down by Morgan Rogers. We'll give it to Ollie Watkins. Watkins out to Bukayo Saka. He's got the armband. Saka will fire it across. Well defended by Jean Ruiz down there. Met it well as Bukayo Saka received it on the right side and tried to fire it back across the goal. So Jarrell Quansah is going to take the throw. All the way up towards Mainoo. It's not Gehi. It's going to be fired all the way across the 6-yard box where Ollie Watkins was just trying to sniff out an opportunity. Has ended up going all the way through. And then it's come all the way back to where Jarrell Quansah is. Now Saka into Watkins on the right side. And it's fired across goal, and it's going to be well defended down there by Jalen Mitchell, who got back in and defended well. It is now going to be a corner. And it's the captain, Arsenal's vice-captain, Bukayo Saka, who gets over. Well supported by those England supporters down there. 6 minutes on the clock in this game now. Bukayo Saka is going to prepare to deliver it in all the way into the near post. That will be headed away. It's going to come all the way back now to where Eberechi Eze is. Eze on the edge of the box, pulls it back towards Ollie Watkins. Quick feet shown by Watkins here. He'll fire it all the way across the goal. Dan Burn will get there, but it's not tackled in the end, and then the touch comes off Marcus Rashford and will run out for a throw for Costa Rica now. It's 7 minutes on the clock here. The referee just telling Jaden Mitchell to get on with it and to speed it up. He will launch it forward. Where's Maining? Give it to Rodgers. And Rodgers will play it out on this left side. It's quick play, lovely footwork by Marcus Rashford. Rashford gets his shot away, and it's cleared away on the line, in fact, by Quiros, who got back well. Just to cover the goalkeeper behind him. Did really well. It's now going to be an effort from distance. It's a shot by Morgan Rodgers. It's saved by Madrid, but it's followed in by Ollie Watkins to put England 3-0 up, and that's got to be huge credit given to the two Aston Villa players. Right in the high of being European champions, winning the Europa League a couple of weeks ago. Rodgers with the effort, which was saved by Abraham Madrid, but he could only push it out to Ollie Watkins, who has done well to silence those critics over the last few months. After being dropped from Thomas Tuchel's side, he responded well by scoring a hatful of goals for Aston Villa in the Premier League and in the Europa League. And now scoring for England here to put Thomas Tuchel's team 3-0 up in their final international friendly before they head into a huge summer of football, taking on Croatia a week today. And Ollie Watkins has headed England 3-0 up. So now a long ball goes up. It's a lovely touch taken by Ollie Watkins. Apparently gone a little bit too early. So an offside being given by the official on that far side. Thomas Tuchel will be very pleased with the way that his side have reacted. Fantastic support at the moment from the England supporters. 79% of the ball for England so far. So here's Jed Spence going down the left side. Tries to play it on towards Marcus Rashford, and it's not a good pass into him. Final minute of normal time now. England have had a good game today. Certainly enjoyed what they've been treated to as England supporters. Not the biggest of stadiums, but been able to make good noise here. So now, a bit of pressure on the England defence, but Mark Gahey does well and is able to go back to his goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. Henderson will just play it out to the left flank with Jed Spence. Here is Spence going forward. It's going to come on towards Ollie Watkins. Watkins out to Bukayo Saka. There's Saka who's going to fire it all the way across the goal. For a second there, Abraham Madrid was certainly worried as we're into 6 additional minutes. The England captain, Bukayo Saka, just firing it across goal. He was trying to find one of Morgan Rogers or Ollie Watkins in the middle. Ended up finding neither of them. So long ball goes up. It's actually going to be headed by the Costa Rican attacker Sinclair. It'll go out for an England throw. Go back inside now. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, who will give it Dan Burn. Dan Burn into Rashford. He'll float it forward towards Jed Spence, and that's going to be headed on and all the way out for a corner. Taking the last touch off the Costa Rican defender. As Bukayo Saka has now made his way over. He's just going to put the ball down. He's going to send it short, and now it'll come into Saka. He'll play it back for Jed Spence. Effort at goal, and I think it's just cleared right in front of the goalkeeper there. It was fired in, decent effort. It's just blocked off by number 14, Gallo. Played well today. This was fired in towards him. He did well. So one ball comes in. It's going to come all the way back to Eberechi Eze. That is in an effort at goal, and that will be blocked off down there. Get on with it quickly though, will England. It's fired in all the way towards the far post. Gehi will give it alive. It's now Rashford. Rashford here in the 93rd minute gives it to Eze. Eze tries to move it onto his left foot, and then it's going to be an effort at goal, and it's well saved by the goalkeeper. The effort from Kobe Mainoo, Manchester United youngster. And now going to come forward are Costa Rica, although Ollie Watkins just being grabbed hold of. Kick being given. 3 minutes left. So Saka all the way out on the right side. There is Rogers. Rogers is tackled. It's just going to be booted away. And they are making fantastic noise of those England supporters. So Rashford will knock it on. It's a great pass towards Ollie Watkins, who's in behind. It's a great opportunity there for him. Costa Rica will concede another corner. He's just not able to sort his feet out. Final 2 minutes of the game now. Rashford stood over it. Going to come to Eberechi Eze. Eze will give to Kobe Mainoo. Mainoo will chop it back towards Morgan Rogers, who will fire in an effort at goal. He's ended up sending it over the bar. Rogers just getting caught underneath it. The hope that comes with following England certainly never fades. It never gets fulfilled. Well, not since 1966. You need to be nearly 70 years old to remember that golden day and golden team. England fans always go into World Cups with a song of hope on their lips and clutching a lottery ticket of belief as they come forward again. This time Watkins with the effort, but that'll be blocked off on the edge of the box. history is against England, though. And in over the last 30 years or so, they found many ways to throw it away. In Italia 90, they lost on penalties. A red card and penalties at France 98. Injuries before 2002 with David Beckham picking up a horrendous injury. And also Michael Owen. And also a red card for a teenage Wayne Rooney in penalties in 2006. There's even a missed kick from an expert taker in Harry Kane in the last World Cup in 2022. 2010 they were outclassed by better players and teams in Germany, in 2014 against Uruguay, and 2018 against Croatia. Petulance and penalties, injuries and occasional injustices, clicks and controversies. The story of England on the national stage has been one of chaos and heartache, but they will be hoping that the difference now is that a world-class manager in Thomas Tuchel will bring calm and nous. He brings trophy-winning pedigree, and they will be hoping that from a week today, England will be starting their journey on the global stage, just as they have done today against Costa Rica. It finishes England 3, Costa Rica 0.